We are live with the Guru and 5 effective tips of networking.
Good morning. It's a Friday morning. This is the first day of the Realtor Week. We're rocking it this morning. We're building your business, and I've got 5 tips to effective networking. I'm talking about the 5 tips that will make your networking on fire. And by the way, don't cut out early. At the end, I've got a bonus that's going to make it all come together for you. This morning, we are talking about networking because this is how you build your business long term. You know, you can network with even one person. You can network with the whole room. We are in the relationship business. We are in the business of building wealth for families and people, and we're taking this apart right after this.
So, Rod, how can a cup of coffee improve my career in real estate?
Well, one cup of coffee is how we start our mornings, and it's not a stranger in real estate. We have coffee with our clients all the time. Even bigger than that, we can sit down with one cup of coffee, talk about your goals, make your business bigger, and push you to heights that you can't even believe.
That's right. And I'll tell you, working for Rod and I, you can be pushed because he's a workhorse.
I love real estate, and I want to share my passion with building your career in real estate as soon as we can pour the next cup of coffee.
So how about a cup of coffee with us?
I look forward to having a cup of coffee with you and having a discussion of a career change as soon as possible.
Thank you. The Guru is back with tips about networking.
Okay, here we go. Networking is hot. You've got to know how to effectively network to build your business larger than ever imagined. And let me start off with the first thing, which is not even a tip. We're not hitting our first tip yet. But the first thing is networking is not partying. Networking, I'm probably going to get some comments on this. Networking is not going and saying, I'm going to go party. I never really have understood what going and partying really is, but whatever that is, it's not partying. You can have fun, and if you want to call that a party, okay, but it's not going and just hanging with your friends and just doing your networking is a job. Networking is the thing you have to do. Networking is a plan, it's a scheme, it's performables, it's something you can actually leave with that makes sense. And it's not just going and saying, I'm going to go and party. Okay, we're going to get over to tip number 1. So tip number 1, you've got to know your elevator speech. This is number 1. This is hot. You have to know your elevator speech. But what is an elevator speech? So an elevator speech is something less than a minute, probably about 30, 35 seconds. So think about yourself in an actual elevator. That's why they call these elevator speeches. Because what you do, people hang out near the elevator. And the important person goes into the elevator, and you just been acting like you're hanging out. Oh, yeah, I'm going that way too. Let me jump in. Well, this is the person you wanted to network with. Now it's time for your elevator speech, and you have, about 35 seconds. Go to an elevator and go up, a few floors, down a few floors. There's a little bit of waiting time while the door's closing, a little bit of waiting time at the end when it's opening, and then you have your ride. That's it. You don't have a lot of time. Your elevator speech needs to knock it out of the park. Number 1, you need an attention getter. You need to be memorable. You need something to implant in their brain who you are. And of course, right away, a business card. Boom. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is quickly how I do it and have fun doing it. And I look forward to connecting with you. You want that quick elevator speech that tells them rapidly about you and why you are an important person to be connecting with. Well, let's grab your cup of coffee. It is a Friday morning, and we're having fun with 5 tips on networking. It is Friday, so I need to slow down a little bit, but I can get excited. I'm getting ready to go to a governance convention in DC. You don't think there's not going to be networking at a governance convention? It's going to be crazy networking. It's all about networking. It basically, when you're in governance, it's only networking. That's what gets done at these meetings. Yeah, I know. We go over policy and all that kind of thing. But I'm talking about the in-between times. It's all 100% networking. I have to have my elevator speech on fire. I have to be ready because that's the tip number one. And it's the most used piece of networking is letting someone know who you are and why they need to know you. All right, moving on to tip number 2 already on a Friday. You need to be curious and ask questions. Number 2, you need to be curious and ask questions. What do we mean by curious and ask questions? You might say, well, Guru, you said I need an elevator speech. Yes, because you're opening the door. You're opening the initial door, but then you need to ask open-ended questions. You know, that question of, so are you here for the governance convention? Of course they're here for the governance convention. You need to ask open-ended questions like, so tell me about your practice and what you're doing right now to attract new customers. That's open-ended. You're opening up a box of possibilities now. Instead of saying things like, isn't it true that, and you're going to get something like a yes or a no. You don't want yes and no questions. That's not what you're after. You're after a relationship, at least the beginnings. You're not going to put okay, let me back up here on a Friday. You're not going to put together a whole relationship at a networking event. But you can make touchstones. You can make touchstones that you come back and touch upon, but you've got to be taking notes. You've got to, and I don't mean just head notes. You have something in your pocket you're jotting things down with. Have a recordable device. I use my phone in the phone recorder, and I make little notes as I'm transitioning from person to person. They don't know what you're doing. You reach down to your phone. Looks like you're checking your phone. Make some little voice memo to it. That way you can come back and review all your voice memos and you know what's going on. You know what you asked and you know what the answers were. Plan in advance. Questions. Plan in advance how to be curious about someone. Now, you probably need to link it to the event that you're at. That's a common thing to do, and that is normal. Link your questions initially to the event you're at. So what brings you to this event today that I'm getting to meet you? It's fairly open-ended. You're going to want to follow up with a bigger question than that, but it's an icebreaker. It goes back to that thing of getting their attention. You want them to start talking to you because the curious part and asking the questions part does a huge thing for you. And let me tell you what it is. It lets you know whether that person has value that you are interested in. I know everybody has value. I get that. Everybody on this planet has value. But that doesn't mean they have the type of value that you are interested in building your business larger than ever imagined. And we are interested in you networking and connecting with people that have that kind of value proposition to you. That's what you're looking for. You've got to find a way that you are connecting with people and breaking down the barriers of hello. You don't want to just be saying hello. That's not enough. The quick little hello, my name is Rod. Hello, I'm your real estate guru. That's not enough. You've got to have your elevator speech. Then you've got to be curious about them, because let me tell you something about people. People love to talk about themselves. They love it. Someone comes up to me and starts asking me about education or what I'm involved in or my real estate practice. Or I've got lots to say, and so do you, as well as I've got animals, I've got a farm. There's a lot of things happening, and you have these things happening too. And by the way, just as a quick note, so do they. These people at the networking party that you're at, they have things as well. Let's go back to this party concept. There's something I missed mentioning about it's not a party. It's not even one of the tips. I just wanted to start off with it's not a party for you. That you're not there to drink. You might need to carry around a glass of wine. You might need to sip at it now and then. But you don't want to get intoxicated. Come on. You don't want to get intoxicated. You want to have full control of your faculties. You want to have full control of what you're saying, where you're going. You don't want to, at the end of the day, be wearing the lampshade. You'll be remembered. Let me sip the coffee this way before I get in trouble. You don't want to be wearing the lampshade at the end of the day. That's not where you want to be. So tip number 3, let me hit tip number 3 because it's huge. You've got to know this. You need to collect memorable tidbits. Collect memorable tidbits. No, I'm not talking about some coin or some, shirt or something you take away physical. I'm talking about memorable tidbits that they are talking to you about. For example, they tell you that their spouse's name is James. You need to note that. Don't let it just pass out of your head. You can't grab your phone at that moment and make a voice memo to it. You're going to have to remember something. Say it back to them. So your spouse is James. You need to remember the important, memorable tidbits that they are delivering to you. I don't care if you think that they're not important. They thought that it was important enough to tell you about. I don't care if it's a fish. And they say, I've got a fish, and his name is Wally. Well, you need to remember that he's got a fish and his name is Wally, and maybe what kind of fish it is, so that when you contact this person again, you can say, by the way, how's Wally doing? This is going to be what makes this whole thing come together. We're going to pull this all together in a little while here, but the memorable tidbits is absolutely critical to what's happening. You're there absolutely for this. You're not there because of your elevator speech. You want the elevator speech to break the ice, to show them that you have value. You want the questions that you're finding out about them stuff. And that stuff that you're figuring out about them as to whether they have value for your business becomes memorable tidbits. The memorable tidbit pieces. And that's what you have to remember. If they say to you that they drive a 1974 Ford Pinto, you need to remember it because they thought it was important to deliver to you in the conversation. Even if it was a funny joke, that's even better at times, because when you contact them again, you can say, hey, remember our conversation when you said you had a 1974 Ford Pinto? That is awesome. You're making a link with this person. You are networking. That's what networking actually is. It's making a substantive connection for your future business needs. And if this person isn't someone that's substantive, if this person isn't someone that is going to work that way, Thank them, be kind, because let me tell you, you don't know who people are connected to. The next person might be their cousin that has something for you. So always be kind, always thank them, but then move on. Simply move on. So collecting memorable tidbits, absolutely huge. You've got to know that. You've got to have some method. And people will tell me all the time, I don't have a good memory. I simply can't do it. Well, you've got to find some way. I don't care what that way is. Even if you say, oh, let me check my phone here real quick. And you're putting a note on there. Or, oh, I'm waiting for my kid to get back to me. And what you're actually doing is putting their name on your phone. Find a way to put the memorable tidbit in a place in your mind, in your phone, on a notepad, on something, because these are the pieces that are going to become incredibly important to you to building your long-term business with that piece of network. All right, let's slow down here. Another sip of coffee. We're going to hit number 4 here in a minute. Real quick, though, I would love it if you'd hit the like button. You hit the like button and it automatically tells me this kind of content is working for you to help build your business larger than ever imagined. Hit the like button. Of course, it encourages me, I love to hear back from people. It just makes my day. Also, go over to YouTube. If you're not watching this on YouTube and you're watching on some other social media, right down here in the banner, take note of what the YouTube URL is. If you go there, you hit the subscribe button. And you can hit the subscribe button and you don't have to go back to this exact video, but go there and hit the subscribe button. That will open up. And it's at no cost to you, by the way. It's at no cost. Hit the subscribe button and it will open up the Guru members only events for you that we help you build your business. We go deeper into your business. What we're doing right now, this is solid, great stuff. You've got to know it. But we take this and go deeper into building your business. Direct coaching. You've got to have that. Go over and hit the subscribe button and it opens up those opportunities and those events. Also on social media, wherever you're at and watching the show, whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter, wherever it is, follow us on social media. That way you will get notifications of all of our events, our new videos coming out, our coaching videos coming out. Across the board, you will get these things. If you are watching them regularly, it's building your business. Everybody needs a little tidbit here and there of information, of encouragement to move them on. We're in a tough career. This is not some easy, greasy thing that we go collect millions of dollars. You are working hard in this career. It's your chosen career. I know that because you had to at some point in time go get licensed. And nobody goes and sits for a state exam, a federal exam, pays all the association fees, goes through all the hassle to say, well, this wasn't my chosen career. Nobody's doing that. You went through it because it is your chosen career. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot of things. There's moving parts all over the place. Just like networking is a job. And you don't have to network every time you go into a room. I wouldn't, because it's not that fun. It's a job to go and network. It will mentally wear you out, because it's a job to go and network a room. All right, we're getting over to tip number 4. This whole networking thing, difficult to do for sure. Don't get stuck. Don't get stuck with one person in a room. Don't get trapped working the room. This is a constant problem with people. They start networking a room. They get to their second person, and that second person has a 30-minute story, and you can't seem to escape them. And it really doesn't matter that it's you, by the way. I've seen lots of these people. I'd love to hear from you in the comments about getting trapped with one particular person that has this long story about their mother-in-law that had some surgery, and now they're dragging you through all the different ramifications of the planning, repairing, and recovering from this surgery of their mother-in-law. That's going to do you no good for the networking that you've shown up to do. So you can get trapped talking to somebody, and the talking with them won't necessarily even be anything about the business that you're trying to build. It won't be about the networking of the room. In fact, it's horrible. You were simply trapped. You were sitting there or standing next to them and wondering, as your mind drifts on, when is this going to be over? When can I possibly move on? Oh, there goes that person I wanted to network with. Oh, that person's leaving the room now. And time is ticking on, because the great networking moments go quick. They pass by rapidly. And people are leaving, and you need to be grabbing them. You simply need to be kind. Always, always be kind. You can tell someone right in the middle of their story if you need to. Thank you so much. This is fascinating. I want to connect with you further on this. I've got to run to the restroom, and here's my card. I look forward to speaking with you further about this. And just move on. Just simply move on. It's ultimately, let me tell you, someone telling you the story about their mother-in-law and some surgery that they had to recover from, probably they're just sitting there and they didn't care. Maybe they're not there to network the room. They're simply there killing time. And you happen to be the one that the time is being killed. Well, don't get trapped. Number 4 is don't get trapped. Don't get trapped with individuals. Don't get trapped with small groups. Don't get trapped in corners of the room that you can't escape from. Don't get trapped being asked to go and move a bunch of tables around in the room when it's not even what you're there for. And I don't mean not be helpful. You can be helpful, but you're not there for that. You go to these events and they put on these networking parties, and people go over and they hang out near the wine and near the alcohol. And those are the ones that they're just there to party. And that's fine. If you're there for partying, party on. But if you're there to network, that's not what the goal is. The goal isn't to drink a bunch of alcohol. The goal isn't to go and eat a bunch of food. The goal isn't to go get the last bite of the lobster. You probably need to walk around with something on your napkin or a drink of some sort. But you might want to think about eating before going to the networking party. And I know what you're saying is, but they said they're going to have all this wonderful food. But you're not there for the food. You are there to gain connections with people. And it's the connections that I want you to get. I want you to be able to eventually monetize, capitalize. I'll probably get complaints about that, monetizing on a relationship. But come on. This is why we find people to work with that can better our position, and we can better their position. This is the perfect symbiotic networking I want you to be involved with. And these are the stages, these are the tips in order to get you to that kind of relationship. So don't get trapped in the room. It is the 4th tip. It's one of the largest problems that we see with people. All right, number 5, before we get to our bonus tip, number 5, leave with planned deliverables. Oh, what does the guru mean about that? Am I giving you a job? Yes, I'm giving you a job. Leave with planned deliverables. You're going to follow up. If you said to John Doe that you're going to send them a picture of your dog, You need to send a picture of your dog. If you told someone you're going to contact them, make a note. The worst thing you can do is tell someone you have a planned deliverable you're going to give them and you never do. Then it's worse than not being there. Now you are a non-performer. Now you are someone they met and you didn't perform what you said you would, and people remember these things. So you say you will do it. What you want to be remembered of is someone who actually did the business. You shown up, you worked the room, you remembered that Wally was their fish. You remembered that James was their spouse. You remembered details, and you were able to recant that back in an email, in a voicemail, in a text message, and send the pictures or whatever it is you said you would. So you need to have planned deliverables that will make sense. So what those deliverables are? Well, there's a lot of ways to have deliverables. Mostly it's going to be in doing what you said you would do. Think through the event before going. Another tip I could have in here is in advance. You need to plan mentally what kind of event this is and what kind of questions you want and what kind of deliverables you want to come out with. These are absolutely fundamental. I talk to people all the time about networking. I'm a networking professional. I love it. I use every possibility to network the room that is at my disposal at all. What I find is people don't think about it. They say, oh, well, I'm going to go over there and get in the line for food. That's not what you want to do. Unless the person you want to network is in line for food. But that may not be the time. You may want to wait at the end of the line and find out where that person's going to go sit. So then you have their attention while they're eating. You don't worry about eating. So planned deliverables. I told you there's going to be a bonus. The big bonus that pulls all the tips together. Well, it's probably obvious at this point. But you must follow up after the event. So after the event, the next day, this is when the ball is dropped. Your bonus tip is follow up. Follow up with everybody that you networked with. Send them a thank you, send them a thank you card, send them an email, a text, send them a video, even better. Send them a video of follow-up, thanking them for the time that you had together. And if it's someone that you're really wanting to connect with, then you give them a link, an opportunity to schedule some time together. You may even promote that you are available and give them 2 or 3 opportunities of when you're available. Give them a link to schedule with you. So this fully ties your networking together. You'll be amazed at how your networking all of a sudden is on fire. This is Real Estate Daily. I'm your real estate guru. Take time and follow the show. I would love it if you send me a comment, like the show, and get ready to have a fantastic, profitable weekend. See you next week.